Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. My observation, and I don't know if you noticed this too, but I've been reading Western media, Ukrainian media, any kind of media I can get my hands on regarding the war in Ukraine. Not necessary to make videos or anything like this, is to understand what's going on over there. And I noticed that in the past 2 months or so, the Western media started diluting its reporting from "we're winning, Ukraine is winning, the Russians are dead, the Russians have no more weapons, the Russians are decimated, we are great, doing fantastic, the counteroffensive is gonna be, well, we're gonna smash them," and all that. From that into, the counteroffensive is not that successful so far, but hey, it's coming. It's like you're in a boxing game and you lose the, 14 out of 15 rounds, and you say, in the last one, I'm gonna give up. Well, maybe, but you're almost dead right here as you are. So, yeah, that's a possibility. Slim, but not impossible. Remember Joe Frazier, what's his name, Muhammad Ali, but I think Frazier was ahead anyway on points when he knocked him down. Wasn't it in Madison Square Garden? I think so. Anyway, so here we have the Business Insider, the Americans, coming and telling us something that they would have never told us about, unless there's another goal further down the road, which is, hey, I'm gonna make this guy appear strong so I can get some perks from somewhere, like the Ukrainians have been done from the very beginning of this war. The Russians are strong, the Russians are killing our people, the Russians are killing civilians, they have these weapons, give us. They have the weapons, we don't have them, give us. So they use this, they are criminals, they destroy our families, and I'm pretty sure that happened, both sides. Because they have these big weapons and we can defend ourselves, give us something. Look at this article coming from Business Insider, and they're going to tell us about Russian Air Force. That probably the Ukrainians destroyed about 2,000 some airplanes, or who knows how many now, and I don't believe anything the guys say. I don't believe the Russians as well. But Business Insider is going to tell us, not necessarily to trust them as well, something like this. Russia's Air Force, and I'm quoting, remains largely intact, but more jets won't fix all its problems in Ukraine, NATO commanders say. So, I have never seen this kind of article before, but remember, this is after 1 year and a half almost of fighting in Ukraine. It's not like the first 2 weeks. And actually, in the first 2 weeks, they reported that the Russians are losing so many the best airplanes and all that, and now Russia's Air Force remains largely intact. Let's see what they want. They might want something, obviously. This is from yesterday, July 15th, 2023. After 16 months of fighting, most of Russia's Air Force remains intact. Despite its numerical advantage, Russia can't control the skies over Ukraine, but neither can Kiev. Issues with how Russia uses its many jets may inhibit their effectiveness, two NATO leaders say. After 16 months of fighting in Ukraine, Russia's military still has nearly all of its combat aircraft. So that means, okay, but neither Russian nor Ukrainian aircraft can control the air, the Royal Air Force top general said Thursday. And I like numbers, and I think they're going to give us numbers down here. But even if they give you numbers, when you give numbers, we'll see. But nevertheless, here, nearly all of its combat aircraft are still there. They still have it. Jet and helicopters have not disappeared from over Ukraine, but tickets of air defense systems make the airspace inhospitable. There you go. Finally. And even though Russia has a vastly larger air force, other issues may keep it from operating effectively, according to two NATO air commanders. So let's see what they say here. Knighton, I'm not gonna, these are generals, Chief Marshal Rich. Knighton, Chief of the British Air Staff, said Russia's land force is now weaker, having lost more than two-thirds of its tanks, but the Air Force remains largely intact. So he displayed a graphic depicting both sides' losses. Can you believe this? When have you seen the Americans or anybody depicting both sides' losses? I thought it was against the law to display or depict Ukraine's losses, based on assessments by British Defense Intelligence and open source tracking website Oryx. This was unheard of, like in the mainstream. On one graphic said Russia has taken over 220,000 casualties, including 176 military pilots, and lost 162 air defense systems. Second graphic said Russia's Air Force retains 96% of its 2021 fixed-wing aircraft and 90% of its 899 helicopters, with losses of 86 planes and 90 helicopters. Well, if I go right now and I access the Ukrainska Pravda, I don't think they're going to say 86 planes and 90 helicopters. Last time I checked, there were much more than that. But nevertheless, let me see. Maybe we can find that, but keep going here. And here is an article from today, from Ukrainska Pravda, Sunday 16, and they're going to give us the exact numbers they claim, right here. So you have here 315 fixed-wing aircraft and 310 helicopters. You see this? So this is how much these guys say. Now, it doesn't mean that that's necessarily true, but 315, 310. How many these guys, I said? 315, 310. 86, 90. All right? What did I tell you all the time, my friends? Remember? I told you when you want to figure out when the Ukrainians are saying these are the Russian losses, you divide it by 3. Remember my rule? And if, you know, when the Ukrainians are claiming successes, again, divided by 3. Or when they claim their losses, multiply it by 3. That works both sides. I think the Russians are not by 3, are about by 2. But the Ukrainians are definitely by 3. I figured that out. I can't tell you how. But it's by 3. And here, 300 and some helicopters, 300 and some fixed-wing airplanes. And over there is 80 and 90. So it's about a third. Anyway, let's go and keep reading this Brits here, about these Brits. So the second graphic noted heavier losses for Ukraine's air forces. Ooh, so we got them too. 68 fixed-wing aircraft. The other guys had what? 86. Leaving 78% of its 314 plane fleet. Leaving 78. Okay. And 31 helicopters, or 40% of its 59 helicopters. Ukraine now has 15 combat aircraft for every 100 that Russia has, the graphic said. Those numbers are differ slightly from previous estimates. A US intelligence document leaked online this spring listed Russia's losses at 72 fighter jets and fighter bombers and 81 helicopters, and Ukraine losses at 60 fighters and fighter bombers and 32 helicopters. The point is, let's see if we find here, send them weapons. Where is it? Any F-16s? Can I see here? Maybe? Nothing? Give them some? Come on. Hey, hello? No, nothing here yet? I'm trying to find out if they eventually they say here something about, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to make the point because it seems like the West is trying, like, not like, I use the word like now too many times, I have to punch myself every time I'm going to be like this after a video. So it seems the Westerns are trying, the Americans are trying to stop the delivery of F-16, even though they said, yes, we're going to send it, but then say, hey, just a second, because they say that's not proper, it's not ideal, that's what they said. Sending F-16s to fight in Ukraine is not the ideal. What do you mean the ideal? The ideal would be the other guys waiting with baseball clubs or something, or with arrows and bows. That would be the ideal, that F-16 will perform Is that what it is? It seems like. I mean, remember what the Brits told the Ukrainians with the Challenger 2 tanks? Don't use them in the risky operations. Keep them far away so they cannot be hit by the Russians. I mean, are they supposed to fight, or are they supposed to just put their veteran or whatever thing? Hey, we did great, participated in the war in Ukraine. Buy it. Like they say, oh, yeah, we use this in the Desert Storm. Against whom? Anyway, I think they just want to make a point, send them, but don't send them. Send them. They're going to send them eventually, unless the war doesn't stop by then. Before, when they said about sending Ukraine fighter jets, they said, well, it needs 6 months. 6 months for a pilot to be trained, but the Ukrainians probably can do it in 3 months. And then I saw an article saying, no, actually they need 9 months now, but they will do it. So if they start, I don't know, not all of them today, let's say in a month, add 9 months and you get next year, I don't know, March or something. Okay, well, I don't know, man. These guys might be done by winter. I don't know if they can go through winter. And I'm not talking about Ukrainians. I'm talking about the sponsors, the planners. Oh man, running low, the population doesn't care. Why? Well, legalize drugs, have them some shows on the TV, and they will be just fine, just fine. Anyway, tell them they're good, they're great as people, the greatest. Tell them the economy is booming, but don't tell them that the deficit, the US deficit, for instance, jumped 3 times. Last 9 months, I made a video on that, from 580 or something for 560 billion dollars last year for a 9 months period. It jumped to 1.4 trillion. So from 580 or something like this billion to 1.4 trillion dollars. So that's nearly triple the deficit. But hey, the economy is booming, and it's booing, yeah, boo. Everything is good, man. These guys, anyway, that's the way it is. So this is that's nearly touched a little bit, not depleted at all, according to these guys, and they're experts, they're NATO experts, they're whatever they are, remains largely intact. Thank you very much for being with me again today. And now, I don't think that necessarily the number of the Russians' planes are like that and actually are like this. The ones that were destroyed, and Ukrainian losses that they claim over there are like this and actually are like that. I don't know that one. But still, at least they dared to say that they are, largely intact. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.